What's up guys, my name is Ace, and we now have the roadmap for Season 4 of Black Ops 6, as well as the blog post going through all of the information with everything we can expect to see content-wise for the season. And that's what we're going to be covering today, mainly focusing on the multiplayer side of things, but I did want to mention a few of the bigger things at least that are coming to Warzone, as well as zombies. But let's start this off with the multiplayer maps we're going to be seeing, and at launch for the season, we're going to be seeing 2 regular core 6v6 maps and 1 strike map, and then mid-season, we're going to be seeing a remade 6v6 map, as well as another strike map. So this is the exact same map count and structure as the previous season, and the first core map we're going to be seeing here at launch is Shutdown. And this one is described as a small-sized 6v6 map, and it takes place in Iceland, and you can see there is some water combat that's going to be taking place on this, which I think is refreshing. I don't think they utilize water quite enough in the multiplayer maps in this game, so I'm glad to see at least the odd map here or there getting some love when it comes to water combat, even though I definitely don't want it to take over. And then for the second core map we're going to be getting at launch with the season, this is Fugitive, and this one is described as a medium-sized map in a secret CIA black site in Iceland as well. And speaking of the fact that these are both taking place in Iceland, it's refreshing to see a little more variety mixed in here as well. We don't have that same Avalon aesthetic that many of the multiplayer maps in this game have, so I'm glad to see them break away from that a bit. But then for our face-off map that we're getting right at launch with the season, we have Blitz, and we can see an overview here, and once again, this one is set in Iceland, and there's not much to say about it. It is a strike or face-off map, so it's obviously going to be quite small. As for our mid-season maps, let's first take a look at the strike map, which is called Eclipse. And this one's set in an underground nightclub in Avalon. And then finally for mid-season, we're getting a reskinned map from Black Ops 3, and this is Fringe. And while the layout looks to be exactly the same as far as we can tell with these images at least, it's definitely a reskin rather than a remaster. It has some very different textures on it, a slightly different aesthetic, but again, exact same layout as far as we can tell. And going alongside this, I wonder if this is what's tying in with the recent leaks with wall running, and also apparently Black Ops 3-like jetpack movement was found in the code. A lot of people are speculating that that's for the next Call of Duty game, but I still think it's a fairly strong possibility that we're actually going to be seeing some kind of a limited time mode within Black Ops 6 itself with those mechanics active, and perhaps that's going to tie in with Fringe somehow, but we didn't get any information on that at least, so still speculation at this point. And that's going to wrap it up for all of the maps that we're going to be seeing throughout Season 4. Now let's talk about multiplayer game modes. And the first one is a brand new mode for Call of Duty called Team Elimination, and this is a twist on Kill Confirmed, where each team has a limited number of lives. However, from the sounds of it, you have to actually confirm the kill to take away from the life count for the other players, and you can pick up your teammates' tags to deny that from them. And then on top of this, once your team's life pool is drained and you have no respawns available, it appears your teammates can still revive you where you were last killed, so I believe by picking up your tag. They aren't exactly clear on this, but it would make sense to me at least. If they pick up your tag before the enemy confirms it, then you will actually respawn with that, despite the fact that your team has run out of lives. So this actually sounds like quite an interesting mode. I often don't really care too much about these random additional modes they add, but this is one I absolutely want to be checking out for myself. And this one is confirmed to be coming for launch with the season. Next, we have a returning party game mode, and that is One in the Chamber, and this is going to be coming in season. And then finally, another in-season mode we're going to be seeing is Party Ops. And this is a limited time mode where you compete in a randomized set of party-themed mini-games, and the player with the highest score at the end of the match wins it all. So that's it for the announced game modes throughout the season. Next, let's talk about the new Scorestreak that's coming. And this is one that was leaked a while back. This is the Grim Reaper. And with this, it's a quad-tube loaded launcher that allows you to just free fire at enemy players or lock on to enemy score streaks. And that's interesting. You can actually use it to lock on. You don't have to free fire that. And apparently it does deliver a huge explosion, which I would expect out of a score streak. Now they mentioned this will cost 725 score to earn, and if I had to guess, this is likely going to behave like the hand cannon or the Grim Reaper or the War Machine, where kills with it will contribute to your bloodthirsty medals as well as a nuke streak. Now going off of that, normally in the blog post, this is where they'd be covering new perks as well as new potential wildcards. However, there was nothing listed in this blog post, so as far as I can tell, no new perks this season and no new wildcards. But of course, we are getting some new weapons, so let's get into those. And at launch, we're going to be seeing the LC-10 SMG. You guys might recognize that from Cold War, although it looks a little bit different in this game. And with this, it has a 34-round magazine capacity, and is described as having excellent accuracy and range, with a moderate rate of fire, average mobility, and very slow handling for its class. I personally really enjoyed the LC-10 in Cold War, so definitely looking forward to this one returning. And then on top of that, we have another returning gun from Cold War, and this is the FFAR-1, which is a high fire rate, full auto assault rifle with excellent CQB power, but slower handling and mobility. And I should mention, this one is also coming at launch with the season in the Battle Pass. Whereas mid-season, we're getting a new marksman rifle, or returning from Black Ops 4, and this is the S6 Model 7. And this is a lever-action marksman rifle with high damage potential, balanced by a slower rate of fire and handling. So curious to see how they balance this one. I wonder if it is going to have some form of a one-shot kill potential, like maybe just to the upper torso, or if it'll just be another two-shot kill marksman rifle. Time will tell on that. And then finally, for ranged weapons, at least for the season, mid-season, we're also going to be seeing the Olympia double-barreled shotgun, but not in the shotgun category. This is going to be in the special weapon category as a secondary, so we will have access to a shotgun secondary here. And they mention it has very high damage and respectable range, but requires frequent reloading. And I'm just curious to see how this is balanced out. Obviously, when you have a slightly slower time to kill game like Black Ops 6, shotguns as secondaries can be a bit concerning. If you can just insta-delete somebody with a secondary weapon when primaries are killing a bit slower than they used to in Call of Duty, that could obviously create some frustration, but it really just depends on how they end up balancing it. And of course, I'll be sure to cover that in great detail with my Gun Guide series. But that's it for the ranged weapons, and overall, I suspect there's going to be at least some backlash with this, since all of these are returning from older Call of Duty games. None of these are brand new, never seen before weapons. However, then again, Black Ops 6 did launch with a ton of brand new, never seen before weapons, so maybe that was kind of the idea, launch with brand new weapons and then bring that nostalgia back with returning weapons over time. At least it looks like they didn't just straight up copy and paste the weapon models, they do appear to be at least reworked for this, but that's just my 2 cents on this. And finally, we are going to be seeing a melee weapon mid-season, and this is just a pickaxe, which will be a one-hit kill melee weapon. Now, in addition to the full weapons that are coming, we're also getting some weapon mods this season. So let's go through those, and the first one we're going to be seeing at launch in the Battle Pass is the G-Grip, and this is going to be available on SMGs and assault rifles, with one exception being the PP-19. It's not going to be available on that. But with this, it's a vertical foregrip in the underbarrel category with an integrated laser for improved firing stability, horizontal recoil control, and tightened spread when transitioning between hipfire and aiming down sights. But with it being a laser, it will block off your laser slot. So that one's interesting, and I'd love to see more attachments like this that can be used on a variety of weapons, just to bring in some more attachment variety so we can mix up our builds a little bit, because I find they are getting quite stale at this stage. After that, for the Strider 22, we're going to be getting a 3-round burst mod, so that'll convert it into 3-round burst, as the title suggests. And they mentioned this will drastically improve your rate of fire and maintain manageable gun kick, but it will be altering your weapon's damage profile. Next, for the SVD sniper rifle, there's a full auto mod coming. So it converts it from semi-auto into full auto, but if I had to guess, even though they don't mention it, this is of course going to be coming with a damage reduction, so I doubt we'll have a one-shot kill potential to the body with it being full auto. But then finally, for the TR2, we're going to be getting the CQB auto conversion, and this also converts this from a semi-auto into a full auto. However, we're going to be firing handgun caliber rounds, and therefore it looks like this is going to be converted essentially into an SMG with this kit, rather than what you would normally expect, which is just like a full auto hard-hitting marksman rifle. So I think that's pretty nice to see here. Now finally, on the multiplayer side of things, we've got a couple of events that they laid out here as well. The first one is the Ballerina event, which is going to be a tie-in with the new John Wick movie that's going to be coming out. And this one will be going from June 5th to June 12th, and it doesn't really specify what type of an event this is. It just says that you slay your way across multiplayer zombies in Warzone, but they did confirm that one of the rewards for this event is going to be that S6 Model 7 marksman rifle. As for the next one, this is the Rivals event going from June 12th to June 26th. And this one they did confirm is going to be an XP event, so you just earn XP and unlock the rewards. You don't have to do anything special, just basically play the game. And in this one, this is where we're going to be seeing that Strider 22 3-round burst mod, as well as the Grim Reaper score streak. Now, in addition to that, they did specify we're going to be seeing a zombies-only mode as well, called King of the Dead. So that's pretty interesting to see. That one's not going to be tying into multiplayer or Warzone at all. And speaking of zombies, let's talk about the highlight of zombies at least. I'm not going to get into all of the details, but the big highlight is the grief mode is coming. And that's something that many zombies players have wanted to see for quite some time now. And this is where you go essentially head-to-head with another team, and you can't kill each other directly, but you can do various things to mess with them and try to outlive them in a zombies mode. And then finally, let's just talk about the big highlight on the Warzone side of things, and this is a brand new point of interest downtown called the Overlook. And this is going to be in place of Nakatomi Tower that they had back in, I believe it was the Cold War version of Verdansk. This time, it's a totally different tower. It looks to be much, much bigger, and there's a lot more going on with it. Zip lines everywhere to get up here, as well as staircases. There's a crane that you can operate and move around outside of that, and apparently from the crane, you can see essentially the entire Verdansk map, aside from Quarry they mentioned. And it looks like it's not just the tower itself, it's also the surrounding area has been altered quite a bit. So this is going to have a big impact on downtown. And I really like the looks of this point of interest. This looks much more interesting than Nakatomi Tower, and I'm glad they're doing something a little bit different here, instead of just following exactly in the same footsteps as the original Verdansk and how that evolved over time. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for today's video on all of the content we can expect going forward with Season 4. Obviously, we still haven't seen the patch notes for this yet, so we don't know about any upcoming like weapon balancing changes or fixes that'll be coming to the game. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. I guess I haven't even mentioned the date yet for this as well. This is going to be starting next week on May 29th. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about this season based on the content roadmap we can see here so far? Are you guys generally excited for this season or not so much? If you enjoyed this video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.